Yo, what's good, guys? Back with another video. This is going to be a really good one because I'm hiding nothing. I'm literally going to break down how to scale to seven figures with Google Shopping and the exact step-by-step process. And I'm going to go over a lot of important things that I see nobody ever talk about for Google Shopping, right? And this is just going to be purely focused for Google Shopping. So let's just get straight into it. Here's just some screenshots of, some client results that I've generated in the past. As you can see, 1 million here, at an insane ROAS. I actually broke this down on my pinned tweet on Twitter, so make sure you check that out. I literally broke down everything. As you can see here, this is last 14 days, 88K spent to generate 480, so we're pushing seven figures a month here. And then this is another one, 460K spent to generate almost 2 million. Right, and this is all profitable. So just some screenshots. I'm not really the type of guy to flex screenshots and whatnot, but I know sometimes, it's needed and people love to see it for motivational purposes. But yeah, let's get straight into it, right? So first things first, let's start with the foundation. And this is something that a lot of people don't really talk about, but it's very, very important. So first things first, why do most Google Shopping accounts fail, right? And, it comes down to these things and a few more, but here are some of the biggest reasons. Lack of feed optimization, this is very important, right? People ignore the GMC, and I'm going to break that down and actually go into it because it's very, very important. And the GMC means your Google Merchant Center. They rush to test PMAX, poor campaign structure, terrible quality score, which is very important as well. I'm going to break that down here. Generic titles, no social proof, so 0 reviews, and just a bad offer, right? So here's many reasons as to why. So you want to make sure you have these things in place, and I'm going to discuss it throughout this video, on how to make sure you position yourself for success for Google Shopping. So let's go into quality score, right? Now, what is quality score? In simple terms, this is, a score of how Google ranks you compared to competitors, right? So if you have a higher quality score than a competitor, you're going to outrank them and rank high. And obviously the key for Google Shopping is you want to rank high. So Google Shopping ads are usually the square boxes. Ideally, you want to be ranking in first, second, or third position. It depends, right? If it's for, top of funnel or like broad, high volume search terms, if you can rank first or second, you're going to be printing, right? And in order to do that, you need to have a good quality score. So what's interesting is the thing about quality score isn't just focused on Google ads, it's also focused on your offer and your website. So this is some metric that Google uses to calculate it. Your expected CTR, right? Your ad relevance. How relevant is your ad to what somebody's searching? Very, very important. And just the overall user experience, right? So, is it a clunky website? Is the speed fast? How's the overall experience on the website from, product page to checkout? And then obviously here are a few more things I've added in. Having a no-brainer offer, having a great website, and then of course having an optimized GMC feed, right? So here's the GMC ecosystem that does print, right? So you want to have captivating visuals. You want to have good images for your Google Shopping ads. You want to have social proof. So of course, if you guys have reviews, add that to GMC, add that to your ads. You want to have SEO-packed relevant titles. We're going to break this down as well. You want to have competitive pricing because you can have like the best ads, but if you're like priced like 3x more than your competitors, it's not going to work, right? Let's just be honest. And then you want to have an optimized in-depth description. So this doesn't really, at face value, this doesn't really affect many things, but on the back end for the quality score, it does. And then you just want to optimize all of the attributes that are on Google Merchant Center for each product. And here's again, just reiterating the point about quality score. As you can see, expected CTR, ad relevance, landing page experience. So make sure you guys remember this, right? Because it's going to be very, very important. So here's the final boss shopping ads ecosystem, right? First things first, you want to have lifestyle visuals that sell outcomes, not products, right? So version A, as you can see, is this image here. It's a white background. It's a bland photo. It only shows the product. But version B, the lifestyle lifestyle image, it shows, so this is for a dog bed product, right? As you can see, it shows a dog sleeping peacefully with the bedroom owner, right? It shows that the dog is sleeping peacefully in the bedroom and the owners are behind it. What does this mean? If somebody's in the market to buy a dog bed and they see this image, they can instantly visualize themselves, in that situation. And this is very important, right? People buy the anticipation of a feeling or experience, right? So having just a bland white background image isn't really gonna, spark anything within a person that wants to buy, your product. But if you have a lifestyle image that hits a certain angle or a certain emotion, more often than not, they're gonna click on your ad and wanna, read more about it and, ultimately buy your product. So I'm going to break down in depth about images and how to test it, because don't get me wrong, having white background images sometimes does make sense, but a big part of it comes down to the niche you're in, right? And the sort of products you're selling. Pillar 2 is social proof, social proof, right? So this is very important. I mean, look, it's 2026 now. People, like, a lot of people have trust issues, right? Even me, sometimes I have trust issues when I buy certain things and I hear certain recommendations and all that sort of stuff. So, what you want to do is you want to have reviews. Like, this is a no-brainer, right? You want to have reviews, because reviews signals to the buyer that we've been doing this for years. People actually buy this. This actually works. And that you want an established brand and you're trusted by a lot of people, right? This is important. This makes them feel heard. This makes them feel comfortable and heard. And then, the conversion rate impact. So I split test a lot of things with Google Shopping. And one thing that I did split test was social proof as well, like adding reviews and not adding reviews and keeping all the other variables the same. And believe it or not, I was kind of surprised. So the shopping ads that did have reviews, we got a 5% CTR, and this was for this one product, right? It had the 5% CTR and the 3.5% conversion rate. And remember, for Google Shopping, this is a very, very good CTR, because a lot of people struggle to get above a 1.5%. And then shopping ads without reviews, it got a 2% CTR and a 1.5 conversion rate, right? So this just shows you the importance of having reviews. Pillar number 3, right? So this is very, very important as well. You want to have titles that are optimized for high quality score and high ranking, right? So most brands just write trash titles. Look at this example here. Casper dog bed, large/stand. What's wrong? It's missing primary keywords like orthopedic, memory foam. It's missing benefit keywords like joint support, anti-anxiety, and it's missing material keywords, right? So here's a good optimized title, right? And what you guys can do is take this as a reference point, plug it into Claude or ChatGPT, and then ask it to, pump out something similar for your specific product. Orthopedic dog bed, large, memory foam, joint support, washable cover, premium Casper. So 2 things. Google's algorithm has clear signals. It knows exactly what this product is and who it's for. So it's going to be able to target, the right person. B, the actual person that is in the market to buy a dog bed, when they see this, they're like, okay, like as opposed to this Casper dog bed, they're like, okay, this is orthopedic, memory foam joint support, it has a washable cover, it's premium, and then it has the brand name at the end, right? But don't lead with your brand name. I never recommend that. And then as you guys, like I just said, what does it include? Size specification, material, the benefit, the features, the positioning, and then the brand. So use this little criteria and checklist to implement for your titles moving forward, because having good titles, trust me guys, is very important. And like every single, at least once a week or once every other week, I'm testing new titles, A/B testing titles, because ultimately that's how you're going to really rank high. Pillar number 4, right? So pricing psychology that removes friction. And by the way, you guys can apply this to like just your back end if you're running Facebook ads, whatever that looks like. So you have product at £249 and you're charging £15 shipping. Psychologically, a person's like, wait, that's too expensive. Why am I like £15 for shipping? That's insane. A lot of people have friction with shipping, and I'll be honest, even I do. When I shop for something and it's like I'm already spending a lot, and it's like, why am I paying extra for shipping, bro? Like, just give it for free, But psychologically, if you have a product that's priced at $265 with free shipping, then like, okay, this is a fair deal. Like the price point is pretty fair, and I'm getting free shipping, right? So, like I said here, free shipping feels like a reward. Right, so definitely implement this. I've tested this over the years, and I've been doing it for so long. I always do free shipping personally. For my clients, I'm always pushing them to do free shipping as well, and just like mark it up on the actual price point of the product. And I find this just to help out a lot and remove a lot of friction. Cool. Now let's dive deeper into images, right? So there's different types of images you guys can have, and I'm going to break it down here. So the first type of image you guys can have for your Google Shopping ads is a pure white background image, right? In terms of size, I recommend to do 1200 by 1200, and then don't do text overlay. Sometimes you can, but a lot of the time it could get restricted. It just depends, right? But for the most part, I don't recommend it. But you can have just a pure white background image. So this works well where it's like, it's more of like a commodity type product. It's not like something where you need to kind of stand out, or you need to kind of show off your USP and that sort of stuff, right? So sometimes we have white background products, and again, the purpose here is you're just showing your product with no distractions. The second type of image we can have is a lifestyle image, right? So it's your product in a desirable environment, and basically the same thing that the same example that I just showed you guys here with this dog bed, right? Let me just pull it up real quick. This one here. This is a lifestyle image, right? People can see this, and they're like instantly they can visualize themselves. They can visualize their pet in their bedroom, chilling in their comfortable bed. So what you want to have here, soft lighting, slight background blur, and then, show the outcome, not the product, right? And the purpose here, again, emotional connection and visualization trigger, right? People can visualize clearly using your product. And honestly, for the most part, we use lifestyle images. We find that works well, because the thing is, a lot of people with Google Shopping, they're just doing white background stuff. And if you just have a white background image, you're not really going to be able to stand out, right? So it's very important. And now with AI and stuff, and especially for the guys that are doing Facebook ads watching this video, like you guys, I'm pretty sure you guys are creative. So you should have good ideas already on how to test lifestyle images, right? And then image number 3, feature. So a feature-based image, right? So an extreme close-up of a key feature, a key USP that you guys have. You can highlight, premium materials that you guys have, and that way, especially this works better for high-ticket products, right? And that way, the person that's in the market for your product, they're able to justify, the price point because they're giving it a high perceived value. And the purpose here, rational justification and perceived value. Image number 4, social proof overlay, right? So product on a neutral background, and then you can have the star rating, trusted by X amount of customers. So look, I'll be honest, sometimes Google doesn't allow this and sometimes it does. Just test it and you'll see. And the purpose here is the bandwagon effect and trust building. Here's some examples of images, as you guys can see. We have, so like personally, the one that I like the most is going to be this first one and the second one, right? Because instantly it stands out because of the background. This one here, social proof, it has strong USPs, it has an award, and it just gives it that high perceived value feel. Like when you compare this to this just looks cheap, like it's from AliExpress, and look at the price point, crazy, right? But what these guys are doing well is they have the ratings, right? So this is what I was talking about. You really want to have this, and if you're doing free shipping as well, plug it into GMC, and it's gonna you get this more real estate, and of course, it's just a strong selling point. So that's regarding images, right? Now, why most brands never implement this, right? So obviously I'm giving you guys so much sauce right now, and honestly, this is what I'm doing to be able to achieve crazy results, right? Obviously there's more to it and I'm going to break more down, but in terms of the foundations, that's what I'm doing. So why do most brands never implement this? Because honestly, a lot of people are just fucking lazy. Like they're just lazy, right? So they just want shortcuts and they just want to upload their feed to GMC, and then just the amount of accounts I audit, and I see that they just have an unoptimized GMC, I'm just like, holy F, it's crazy, honestly. But Google Shopping rewards effort, right? So put in the work. Better images, more clicks. Better titles, higher rank. Better trust signals, more conversions, right? So it's very important. And then you compound those improvements, and I can almost guarantee that you will see your revenue and your performance improve drastically. And with Google Shopping, you'll print 100%. Because most people aren't doing this. So what are your next steps, right? Here's some practical information for you guys. Day 1, right? So after this video, go if you guys are doing Google Shopping or thinking about doing it, just ASAP start implementing this stuff. So what you want to do, audit your current feed. Export all your products to a sheet and review each one, right? Are the titles optimized? So, I gave you guys a source for the title optimization for a strong quality score. Check the images. Are they appealing? Be honest. Put yourself in somebody else's shoes, into a prospect or a customer's shoes. Do they look appealing? And don't be biased. Does each product have reviews, right? I know some people might be in a testing phase, so they're not able to import reviews and that sort of stuff, or they might not have authentic reviews. It just depends where you're at. Obviously, there's other methods you guys can do. I'm not going to go too deep into that. But yeah, in terms of little hacks as well, this is very important, especially if you're getting proof of concept with Google Shopping. Review your search terms that are getting sales, and then add that to your titles. Trust me, this is something that, reason why we're able to scale aggressively sometimes is because of this little hack right here, right? So make sure you guys do that. Day number 2 and number 3, just reverse engineering, right? So what you want to do is understand who's ranking first in the auction for middle of funnel and top of funnel search terms, right? So make sure it's in the country that you're sending in. If you need to use a VPN, use a VPN. Get a bunch of middle funnel keywords that have high demand. And then top of funnel search terms, right, that have high volume as well. And then just plug it into Google and see who's ranking first, who's ranking second. And then reverse engineer it. What does their title look like? What does their image look like? Look at, do they have reviews? What's their price point? Are they running a promotion? What's their USP? What does their shopping ad look like? But then beyond that, because remember, the quality score just isn't about the shopping ad, it's about the offer as well on the website. Reverse engineer that offer, okay, does it land to a PDP? What does the PDP look like? What's that structure like? their cart page, their checkout, all of that sort of stuff, right? What you want to do is you want to screenshot the top 5 ads, and then you want to obviously see what's working there. You don't need to reinvent the wheel. See what's working there, get ideas, get inspiration, but then also identify gaps. Like, what are these guys not doing that you guys can do? And implement it ASAP. This is going to help out so much, guys. Like, trust me, I do this all the time. And in terms of hacks, use Google Keyword Planner to research high volume search terms, right? And then when you're doing your research, so for example, dog bed, right? That's one. And then like in the Google Keyword Planner, type in dog bed, and then just see search terms that are related to dog bed and the ones that have, just a lot of search volume. It's going to be relative based on your niche, right? Day 4 and 5, optimization roadmap. So what you want to do here is sometimes, a lot of guys have like a large catalog, so it's not really practical. I mean, you can automate some things with AI and stuff. I didn't really go into it in this video, but to keep it simple, what you want to do, the products that are driving 80% of your revenue, right? You want to just, separate them out, segment them out, and really just lock in on those and ensure that you just implement everything that we discussed so far in this presentation, right? Optimize all the GMC attributes as well. And then, of course, using the research that we've done. And typically, I like to use Claude for title and description implementation, right? And here's some little hacks. I said this many times. Add reviews, enable seller ratings in the GMC, in the Google Merchant Center. Add promotions to the Google Merchant Center if you're running any. Upload multiple images as well, so you can split test. And then add GTINs, right? GTINs, like, it's such like a small thing, but trust me, it's about compounding the small wins, right? This typically, I actually tested this as well, and it does help out. So hopefully you guys can have it. If not, ask your supplier. And then this is, it's a huge opportunity to dominate shopping, right? Because right now you guys have lifestyle images, optimized titles, social proof, an optimized feed, and then the ecosystem approach. So I guarantee if you implement the system, your efficiency for shopping ads is going to drastically help out. And when it comes to like scaling and when it comes to getting good results and being profitable, that's not the hard part, if I'm being honest with you. The hard part is like just implementing this stuff and really understanding your market and your customer avatar and the angles, right? And then here's a final boss shopping ads campaign, right? This probably, I might need a separate video for this because there's so many different ways to go about it. And honestly, it depends. Like if you're new to Google ads, if you have a lot of data and you're ready to scale, it just depends, right? But typically, one approach that I like to do often is I always start with standard shopping. Anyone that says start with PMAX or start with smart bidding, run away from them, never listen to them again. And I will debate about this for years and years to come, right? Start with standard shopping and start with manual CPC, right? So this typically, if you don't have a lot of account data, so let's say it's a fresh account, you just have like a few sales. After 30 to 50 conversions, you want to switch to target ROAS. So within the standard shopping campaign, you can actually do a target ROAS bid strategy. And then what you want to do for the standard shopping is don't lump everything into that campaign, right? Segment it by collection or by AOV, or like segment your hero product and then like a catch all for like the rest of the products that you want to test, right? And then I just mentioned that, right? So hero product and on campaign. Here's some advanced stuff. So, the reason why I'm able to scale into like big numbers for Google Shopping specifically is this is one strategy that works really well. So let's say you have a hero product that's clearly working. What you want to do is you want to have multiple standard shopping campaigns. So you want to have one low priority campaign for bottom of funnel. You want to have one medium priority shopping campaign for middle of funnel. Then you want to have one high priority shopping campaign for top of funnel, right? Little typo here, but make sure you exclude the keywords from each other. So for example, the middle funnel and top of funnel, exclude the brand. So that way it's being just funneled into the low priority, which think of it like a branded shopping campaign. And in the middle funnel, keywords remove from the top of funnel. So that way honestly, this is how you dominate. So definitely test this. This is more advanced stuff, by the way. This is like when you want to start scaling aggressively and whatnot. But yeah, I feel like some of you guys that are watching this video probably are in that stage where you're ready to get to the next level. And look, guys, book a call with me, using the link below. Hit me up on Twitter. I'm going to, drop a few links after this video. Definitely feel free to reach out for any more source or any more questions you guys have. And then, so I mentioned about excluding the keywords. That's going to be very important. And then PMAX, right? So PMAX is obviously going to be a very good way to scale as well. But again, PMAX only once you have consistent sales and the account has over 50 sales. Google recommends 30. I find 50 to be better. Typically with PMAX, I like to start off with maximize conversion value. Just maximize conversion value, no target ROAS, right? Because you want to kind of get a feel for it. Sometimes you can do target ROAS off the get-go and sometimes it works well, but that's my whole point. You have to test. Personally, I just do max conversion value and then I implement a target ROAS once the campaign is consistent. In terms of asset groups, I mean, look, I don't know. A lot of the time, I audit a lot of accounts and a lot of people just have like one asset group with no signals. That's like the worst setup in my opinion, right? So what I do is I have 2 to 3 asset groups, right? So I'll have one asset group that has search themes and search terms. Ideally, you're winning search themes and search terms because obviously now your account has data. And then I have another one that has audience signals, right? So in market or affinity audiences. And then I'll have one that's just broad, so no signals. But that's more so when like you're scaling and the account has a lot of data. And then of course exclude brand. So many people mix brand and non-brand is a joke, honestly. But at this point, I feel like most people should know this, even though I see it all the time. It's crazy. And then yeah, focus on hero products here, and ensure. So this is another very important thing, right? Ensure that the hero products are relevant to each other, right? So ensure that ensure the hero products are relevant. If you have like 3 bestsellers and like they're different, right? Like different search themes, different search terms, split them out, because what you're doing if you combine everything, you're going to confuse the algorithm and you're not going to be able to add relevant negative keywords to each campaign, right? Remember, I said ad relevance is very important. So this is why you want to split things out. In terms of optimization, this is personally one thing that I used to look at cost. Everyone says look at cost. Personally, I don't. What I mean by cost is spend. What I actually do is I look at clicks. So it depends on your AOV, but I like to give each product 50 to 100 clicks, because is this logical, right? Let's say you got a product and you give it 100 clicks. Even if you were to get one sale, that's a 1% conversion rate, which is shit, by the way. So ideally at 100 clicks, you should be looking at anywhere from like 2 to 5 sales. But if you don't get that, then clearly the issue is probably going to be the offer, the product itself. So you want to analyze the search terms, right? So like I said here, if the search terms are dialed in, that's a good thing from Google, as you're actually able to see the exact search terms. Then the issue is going to be your offer website. So you want to just do an audit. Where's the bottleneck, and optimize that. And then remember, always add negative keywords, because especially in the beginning, and even when you're scaling, the more you discipline Google's algorithm, the better the targeting is going to be and the better performance is going to be, right? So it's just a game of discipline. And then in terms of scaling, I always start with a manual approach. So once I'm ready to scale, I like to implement a PMAX feed only and then introduce a target ROAS once stable. And then, unlike Meta, where you're able to double budgets and be aggressive, I like to increase budgets by 20 to 30% every few days once it says limited by budget. Right? If it's not limited by budget, I decrease the target ROAS to force more spend. And then also another thing is I like to scale horizontally. So I might create new asset groups or scale, the product line. There's so many different ways to scale, right? And what's very important is look at the search impression share. This is a very important metric. And this is ultimately Google is telling you how much impression share are you getting out of the total impression share. Of course, the goal is to get 100%. That's going to be extremely rare. But if you can so it's split out by 2 things. Are you losing impression share to budget? So if that's the case, simply increase the budget of the campaign or decrease the target ROAS, right? Or are you losing impression share to rank? If you're losing impression share to rank, then again, this is why I went over this whole breakdown, right? Especially going over here and here. Because rank, quality score. The better your quality score, the better your ad relevance, the better your ads and offer, the better, your rank is going to be. And then ultimately, the higher impression share you have, just, the more you're going to be able to scale and just dominate the auction, right? And then, of course, there's going to be a cap. So watch my previous videos about introducing YouTube ads. I've actually got another video coming out about YouTube ads. It's going to be really, really good. I'm looking forward to it. And that's ultimately like how you start pouring in more and more demand for your product and scaling to big, big numbers, is by introducing demand gen. So yeah, that's pretty much it, guys, man. I literally gave you guys so much sauce here, like no cap, like, this is what I'm doing and this is why I'm able to achieve crazy, crazy results. But yeah, definitely, feel free to connect with me on Twitter. I'm going to leave my link below. If you guys are ready to scale and need somebody to scale you guys up to big numbers with Google Ads, definitely feel free to book a call. I'll see if you guys are fit. If you guys need some consultation or whatever, again, book a call. I'm always here. I'm going to leave my Telegram below as well. I'm always dropping source there. But yeah, leave a like and comment, guys, and next time. Peace out.